I'm going to wait a while before I go on my little rant. Gives everybody time to get in here. I forgot to do a poll today on our community post, but for those that are watching right now and watching on the replay, comment below on where you are located and where you get your chicken feed from. Got 5 people in here. Hopefully the missus is on. So can everybody hear me? Hey Stacy, what's going on? How are you? How's the weather over there in East Texas? Can you hear me? All right. Watching from Arkansas. Hey, Star, do you get any? Where do you get your chicken feed from? Stacy, where do y'all get y'all chicken feed from? Man, this weather threw me off for a loop. I'm in a Tractor Supply parking lot right now, and it is colder than a penguin's balls right now. Mud everywhere, freezing my patootie. I feel you. I'm scared to get out of here. All right, so I think we got enough people here. All right, so normally we don't try to go into these hypes and stuff and these trends and stuff, but I've been getting kind of perturbed about uh, most of these social content creators and people in Facebook groups saying, it's the feed that is making my chickens from not laying in anything. Stacey said they're getting their track from Tractor Supply, but we're getting it from a feed store now. Cool. Made it through the storm from Oregon. Ooh. And now it's just to have a. Did you bring this weather to us? Um, and so I want to put a disclaimer out. We are not chicken experts or anything. I would suggest you always do your own research. However, when we are going into our second year now of raising poultry, Tractor Supply, okay. And Love, Edie Love, thank you. Hopefully, I'm not going to try to be long. Hopefully, this will last about 10, 15 minutes because I'm on my lunch break and the brother is hungry. My stomach is about to eat my back out. Trying to get back to America. So, this is our second year of raising poultry. We are not any poultry experts or anything of that nature. I'm just going to give you what we have learned from some of our mentors. Some of them are Dahlia from Chickenlandia, Big Bear Homestead, and other people of that nature, even Jazz from Roots and Refuge. We have learned our mistakes and stuff through them. And so I'm just going to kind of give you my reason why our chickens stopped laying eggs. The first one is going to be stress. If y'all remember last year, the summer heat came early. I think it came back in May, and we normally start around mid June to the end of June, and it came like the last week of May, and it was just balls hot, triple digits, and it lasted all through probably about I want to say mid September, I think it was, and so when your chickens are very stressed, if they've been attacked by predators, we move our chickens like once a week. If you move them on a constant basis, sometimes that can stress them out if your chickens are sick. So we think it is just the heat, and then the weather got cold very early as well. I remember the year before last, it didn't start to get real cold, or at least windy, until around Thanksgiving time frame because we were going to do. Um, we had our best friend's sister got proposed to that time. We were going to do it outside near the pond, but it was cold and it just dropped all of a sudden. But last year, I think it was cold way before Halloween. I think, as a matter of fact, I think it was like a beginning of October, and our chickens were going through an early molt as well, which leads to that's another reason why your chickens was probably not laying as much because when they sometimes chickens will lay eggs when they're molting. Ours kind of did, but you have to give them time. For some reason, it does something to their insides. I think they readjust their organs or something like that. So that's reason why your egg production is going to drop as well. Who we got else in here? Hello, Nikki Gardens Liz. I'm just going to try to read through here. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Hello, how are you? Awesome. So those are some of the reasons. I got my notes here. I want to make sure I got through everything. Um, Most of everybody probably started getting chickens around when COVID happened. They wanted to raise their own chickens. They wanted to, raise their own meat or whatever it may be. It's been about 2 years. Each chicken is born with a certain amount of eggs. All right. Their first year, they're going to be producing a lot of eggs for you. Most chickens will start laying their first egg from, I think, anywhere from 20 weeks up to 28 weeks. That's about the time when they're going to start laying eggs. Now, with the American breast, we noticed that they lay a lot earlier than that. Start laying about the 18th to the 20th week. Uh, so, so keep in mind of that. For anyone this year's is what if anybody out here that's watching this live or watching the replay, let me know if this is going to be your first year raising chicken, ducks, geese, whatever it may be. And if you're going to be like doing egg layers or meat birds. I'm going to go to the comments real quick. What's going on, Soul Family? Black Tropical Homestead. Yes, it is cold, Mr. Nicky Gardner. Uh-oh, how did I do that? Oh, there we go. I'm trying. This is my first time doing it on the phone. Didn't know you could do StreamYard from the phone here. MTV, M&T Living and Cooking. Hello, hello. We are cold, as you can see. Where y'all at? And I think he was at in the other live, a Soul Family live. All right. So another thing, uh, reason why well, at least I can only say why I feel ours stopped laying eggs was because of the lighting. It got dark real early last year. Um, it normally doesn't start getting dark, I think, around November timeframe, but it got dark. I want to say around October because normally when I get home, I can at least get 30 minutes of sunlight where I can visit with the animals and stuff. But now I get up at 5 o'clock. I don't get home till 7:30, and it is pitch black. Um, Thankfully, it's starting to get a little bit lighter now. Now we got past the winter solstice, but your chickens are going to need at least 14 to 16 hours, minimum of 14 hours. If they get more than 16 hours, they will definitely get their egg production will get uh, get going. That's the main thing. Most people, we have a lot of egg layers. I think we have over 130 birds, and most of those are currently are egg layers. Um, we don't provide any supplemental light for our animals. We just let nature. We like to give our animals rest because after your second year, I believe their egg production will drop about 30%, and each year after that, it will continue to drop. So for anyone that's getting or start or thinking about raising chickens for eggs, or for even for meat, well, we'll just stay with eggs since this is the whole main thing, is start small just to see if you need to up your ante. And then about every 18 months to 2 years, start replacing those chickens so that way your egg production will stay constantly. Because even during our first year, even our young chickens, we got them back in June. They didn't start laying to November, and they were laying all throughout, like heavily. We were giving eggs away. We had 30 chickens, egg laying chickens, and we were giving eggs away because we were just overran by them. And then this year it dropped tremendously because it's their, or last year it dropped tremendously because that was their second year. They're no more, they are no longer in adolescence. So, we had to, um, we got some more chickens and they are just now starting to lay eggs. We got some 12 white Brahmas, 12 or about 25 olive eggers and Americanas, and something else. What else did we get, Mrs. Nikki Gardner? She the one that got all of these animals. Yes, if you do get a ton, we don't have a freeze dryer. Mrs. Nikki Gardner been bugging me like crazy getting a freeze dryer. I saw that price and the way my bank account is set up. The last thing is that your chickens are going to need a high protein diet. What with especially during the winter season, our chickens were going through a molt, and um, we decided not to give them any more egg layer or layer feed. We decided just to keep their body temperature up because we got cold early, like I said. So we gave them some meat bird feed since it's a high protein. We also did we didn't do scratch anymore. We used to give them scratch, and that's just a supplemental feed. We just gave them in the evening time. So that way, once they consume that, they can gain that body heat to stay warm throughout the winter. But we changed that out to give them some buckets. We have a 5-gallon bucket. We put one third of it is corn, and one third of it is black oil sunflower seeds, just to kind of increase their protein level. Black oil sunflower seeds in the corn doesn't have a high protein level. You could give them like soldier flies, larvae. What else you can give them? It's other things you can do your own research. Other protein levels and fat that you can give your chickens to increase their egg laying production. So that brings us to this whole elephant in the room of this Tractor Supply. Uh, I can say we didn't experience this because we don't get most of our feed from Tractor Supply, the Dumar and the Purina brand. We do get their crack corn. No, we don't even get their crack corn. I think it's mostly the meat bird feed and the black oil sunflower seeds. We get our feed from a local feed mill. Your local, if you can find a local feed mill, we learned this from Jason and Robin at Big Bear Homestead, and it has been a game changer. When we first started getting that, because we were going through feed like a 50-pound bag a week, and we found a local feed mill. They told us find a local feed mill. It's way cheaper. I think when we first started out, I think the bags were like $15 at the big box stores. Then we went to the feed mill place, and it was like under $10 a bag. I mean, inflation now. I think we're Mrs. Nickagarder. Can you let us know how much we're paying now for um, feed, Mrs. Nickagarder? I think it's like 13, 13 to $14 a 50-pound bag. Um, so you want to find a local feed mill. Another way that we kind of stretch out our feed is we do a lot of fermenting of our feed mill or our feed. We done a video about this. I think two or three videos about this. If you don't know, it basically doubles in size. It adds more nutrients to your feed, which means that they're going to be able to gain that nutrients when they eat that feed. It helps that feed become more digestible. It helps with their gut balance or gut health and everything. It's just basically all good uh, food for them, nutrient dense food for your chickens, your pigs, your ducks, your geese, those type of animals if you decide to raise them. All right, I'm gonna go and check some of these question answers and stuff. Oh, she said we're almost paying $14 for it. Black Tropical Homestead fermenting is a great way to save money. Yes, if you can ferment your feed, and it's real easy. A simple way, you figure out how many animals you have, do a times 0.25 or times zero point 0.5. That's how many pounds that you need to feed your animals. Put it in a bucket, cover that feed with water at least 2 inches above the feed line, so that way no bad bacteria will harm that feed. Put a lid on it, but don't make it tight because you want that ferment to burp out easily. And then we normally during the summertime we ferment about 2 days. During the wintertime we try to do anywhere from 2 to 3 days, and we do a 3 bucket system in the wintertime and 2 bucket system during the summertime. Great way to help add more nutrients to your animal. And we do a lot of we call it a modified free range, so we allow our animals to our chickens to go on the pasture and get the bugs and get on the grass. So most of our feed we use as supplemental feed. We don't use them, we don't feed them just to feed them. It's a supplemental feed because we want their yolk to be nice and dark and rich. Uh, yes, definitely support your local feed mills if you can. Um, you can make your own. You could do some fodder, some microgreens for the amount of birds that we have. It doesn't benefit us to do that. We actually went to the APA conference a few weeks ago, the American Pasture Poultry Producers Association, and they were saying unless you're able to produce about 80 tons of feed, it doesn't benefit you for making your own feed. BNC Gardening Experience Homestead, welcome, welcome. Just gave them all their broth scraps. Yep. And that's another, Mrs. Nikki Gardner put another hint on the head, nail on the head right there. We feed our animals most of our scraps. Mrs. Nikki Gardner has been doing a lot of broth, making a lot of homemade broth from our Cornish cross and our American breast chickens, the carcasses and stuff like that, saving the bones and the carcass and the vegetable scrap. She'll make a big old thing of broth and then just feed it sparingly out to the chickens. We have rabbits. We allow the rabbit poop. Sometimes we give the rabbit poop to the chickens. They'll scratch in it, get the maggots, or scratch and eat some of the poop and scratch all that fertilizer into the ground. There's different ways you could supplement your chickens instead of just buying the bag stuff. If you can, I know some people, probably the urban backyard gardeners, that they don't have a local feed mill. You'd be surprised if you just do a Google search, find out what you can, and it will definitely help out. Carl said, "Cool. My wife wants to buy a few from y'all, and of course, hand me the honey to list to build a coop." Yeah, tell me about building a coop. I got to build 4 Johnson Scovis tractors, and by the 8th of March. So, yeah, right. Keep bugging him so that he'll say, "Oh, hey, let me get rid of that comment." No, I ain't buying no what's called. So I'm good. I'm in my sister-in-law's car because it was ice storm out here. As you can see, yep. I'm going to try to go into. Nah, I ain't going to go in there. Where am I at? There we go. I was going to go into Tractor Supply, but it's cold as heck out here, so I'm not going to be doing that. If y'all have any questions for me, I think that was about it. All I wanted to say about this whole chicken dilemma. Hopefully, we can beat this, uh, kick this horse down, or just bury it, whatever. I don't. For me personally, I don't think Tractor Supply is. They're a distributor, so it's not them. All right, that's like saying Foot Locker is producing bad Nikes. It's not them. They're a distributor from Purina and what's called. We've known some people and some people that raise chickens that have bought from Tractor Supply the whole layer feed and all that. They never had any issues. I know there's a lot of people posting on there like, hey, I switch, and all of a sudden, they first of all, it's going to take anywhere at least 3 to 7 days for that feed to go through their system and stuff. And then, secondly, if I was the number one producer of eggs and the oop, number one producer of eggs and the number one producer of chicken feed, would I disrupt one to increase the other? Why not lift both of them if I have already have a monopoly? Because I did a poll yesterday of where did a lot of people buy their feed from, and if people didn't see that in the comments, and people are watching on the replay, where do you buy your eggs from? Do you buy them from the grocery store? Do you buy them from the local farmers market? Hopefully, at least that. Or do you raise your own chickens? Comment down in the comment section. So Carl said, our last birds we lived in Central Texas had table scrap spiders, scorpion, snakes, yellow belly racers. I've never heard of those. Are those lizards? And local feed from the feed store. Okay. Yes, do your research. We like I said, it could be just a bad batch, and it could be who knows. Do your research. Now I do commend one content creator. They said that they're going to do a test. If I could, I think they were on TikTok or something. If somebody could comment down below, let me know. They are going to do a test. They're going to do separate their chickens. They're going to give them the Purina or the other feed, and then they're going to give them the local feed meal placement, just to see if there is a difference in egg productions. Now, Black Tropical Homestead, they had a live recently, and somebody asked what if they're getting some rabbits, if they're getting some chickens, what type of chickens should they get? Do your research. If you're in Michigan, you can't get the same. I wouldn't recommend getting the same chickens that we are getting, and vice versa. Since we're in Texas, I wouldn't recommend us getting a certain uh, chicken that does better in the northern part. Like if you're in the northern states or colder areas, I would get chickens that don't have a very high comb. That's one of the mistakes that we've had, and we didn't do our due diligence as first year chicken parents, because some of our chicken, like Dominique, his comb got frostbitten, and now his is like all matted up. So be mindful of that. Some of our American breasts that we harvest, this is normally in Texas, we only get about in the 40 areas. But these last 3 years has been crazy. Our American breasts, their comb got all frostbitten. Their comb was like all black, and one of their wattles was even all jacked up. Luckily, we were going to harvest them, so it didn't matter. But you got to do your due diligence on that. If you're going to add, the main thing about this is the lighting. So, like I said, we don't add any artificial lighting. If you want to, you can. Um, if you do, I think I saw Chickenlandia a while back saying that if you do lighting, put it in the morning time, set it for the morning time to go off a little bit early, up to about 14 hours. But right now, you don't have to worry about it. About a few weeks now, maybe by the end of this month, the lighting will increase from 12 hours to 14 hours. So just hold on tight. Check your local market. There's actually, for people that want to buy eggs that don't have chicken, there's a website called Eat Real Chicken. It will, it has a local, uh, reputable farmers out in your area that does pasture raised chickens, animals, all of that. That's very on the regenerative side. This is a lot of things that we learn as being Apple members. Instead of going to these Facebook groups, uh, I will recommend anybody getting to Apple or raising poultry to join Apple. It is a low cost organization. They do a monthly live call. Once you become a member, you get free access to that. As a member, you will be able to ask questions and get answers from real chicken farmers that have been doing this for several years. You get to ask. I mean, it's just a very benefit to everyone that is thinking about raising chickens to join this group. I've heard of it from watching John Siskovich videos about doing the tractor meat tractor that he does, and we built five of them. I think we have five of them right now, and so we're about to build four more just for meat rabbits. They are a lifesaver for anybody that is 6 foot and taller. But I would, instead of asking these Facebook groups, these content creators, unless they're a chicken consultant, I mean, don't even take everything I say as with a grain of salt. Do your own research. Do your own research. All right. So I think that's all I had. I'm gonna go over these questions and then we're gonna chime out of here. Let's see. Carl, I like buff. They're good general all around birds and sweet disposition. Yes. Meat. Okay, here we go. Meat or all meat chickens. It I would start off with egg layers just to see if you like them. Mrs. Necker Gardner like to tell folks to harvest or at least witness, do a hands-on witness of a butchering class. We do butchering class. We're going to be doing a butchering class here shortly, probably in April. I think the first week of April. And I would do one of those or two before getting your chickens because if you're urban area and you're not able to have roosters, guess what you're going to have to do to them? Yep. Um, and then start you with some egg layers and see if you like them. Then go with your meat birds. Um, you could do a dual purpose bird. The only disadvantage I see with that is you're not going to get as much eggs with that, and your bone to meat ratio on those birds aren't going to be as well. So either I say go in all eggs or go in all meat. What breed also depends on what you want from them. Lots of egg. Yes. So there's some breeds that we're possibly thinking about doing that produces over 300 plus eggs a year. So check it and do your own research on that. Research shows that they change the feed. I, like I said, I we have friends that still fed them with Tractor Supply um, feed, and they had no issues. They still was getting eggs now. And then there's some people that we know was doing it, and they wasn't getting any eggs. Do your own research. I mix my own feed and have the elevator, but I don't currently have hens thanks to. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Some people have been with the tractor, the Purina and the other brand have been adding cat food in there because I guess cat food has a high protein and high fat diet or nutrition in there. So, you know, yes, it's winter. let your chickens have that time off. I mean, it's less things that you have to deal with. It, I would say, just let it happen, and then get you some more chickens this year and introduce them into the flock, and then the winter months of next year, you won't have to and get your local feed mill. You won't have to worry about any of this. Let's see. I think that was it. Anybody else has any questions? Yes, David. Yes, go to the feed store, buy feed, not from the big box stores. Now, the only bad thing about that is you have to do your timing right. We buy anywhere from 6 to 12 bags at a time and put them in a 50-gallon uh, barrel. So, butchering is also a good hands-on homeschooling and academy. Just didn't know that. We're empty nesters, so we don't have any kids that we have to raise. But I do a lot of research on different things. Yes, I've heard orphans have actually a good balance of egg laying and meat production. If y'all want to go dual, okay. Yes, definitely, 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 definitely. All right, so that is it. We raise a lot of chickens, not a lot of geese. Starting to increase on our ducks and meat birds. We're about to have 110 meat birds. We got some things lined up. We'll be sharing that later on in a future video about that to kind of get people interested and whatnot. We are going to have a special guest on another live. It's going to be the Monday after next. I got to put that in, work out the details, but we're going to have a tax advisor for anybody that's out here that's raising their own chickens, that's a content creator. They're our tax advisors and do our taxes. So if y'all have any questions on how to help save money and what to claim on expenses and things of that nature, stay tuned for that. Let's see. Someone gave us Gary Rogers. That name sounds familiar. Gary Rogers. They got us a rooster mix with silk. Ugh. I don't see how people like silkies and all of that stuff. I'll be teasing Chicken Landy about her naked necks, and naked necks are frizzles and silkies and stuff. Then we got rooster mixed with silkies, a bird with long feather tails. They made a pretty one together. It looks like her, but he's bigger. Hey, sometimes it happens like that. Remember, chickens are the gateway drug to homesteading. I think it's rabbits. Rabbits are a lot easier, and we're going to be doing a video about that here shortly. Rabbits are a lot easier, in my opinion, than chickens. What do you think, Mrs. Naked Gardener? If she's still in here? Oh, I don't know what bird you were talking about. I, I I thought they were the reason why I got the naked next because of the word naked in there. It's just we're the naked gardeners. I figured, we would get them, and Mrs. Naked Gardener loves them. She said naked necks are her other favorite. No, chickens are. How are chickens easier than rabbits? I don't understand that. You just give them like a little bit of feed, make sure the water is good. That's it. You don't even have to move them, do nothing. About every 4 months you breed them. Other than that, they're easy. And their harvesting is a lot easier. Silkies are just different chickens. They don't lay as many. Yeah. So if people that want to get these cute little rabbit, I mean, why do I keep on saying rabbit? I guess I like rabbits better than what's called. People that want to get chickens because they're all cute and stuff. Remember, everything has its pros and cons. Because they're cute, because they're small, it might produce smaller eggs. There might be smaller meat production. So I have not raised rabbits, so I'll take your word on it for now. When we get moved onto our 10 acres, I might try rabbits. Hey, where are you going to move to? We might be able to give you some rabbits here. We just bred ours last Sunday, so they are attention needed. Take time. So the 5 rabbits that we have, it takes literally less than 15 minutes. You don't have to mix their feed. You don't have to ferment their feed. It's easy. She over exaggerates. Yes, you got to know what to feed rabbits. That's one thing I wish our feed store, local feed mill does is have rabbit feed. I wish they had cheaper black oil sunflower seeds. I wish they had meat layer seeds. So though on some of those we go to Atwood. We live in the same house. Yes, yes they are. They are. Mrs. Nikki Gardner wasn't on board with rabbits at first until I fixed her a nice rabbit dish. So you can't use chicken for pelts. So don't knock a rabbit. Texas Stroll. Yes, chickens take 5 minutes. So you're saying chickens take 5 minutes worth of work, but you don't get me on that. Don't get me on that. Silkies have the best friendly. Well, let me go get some fiddles. I've been on here for 37 minutes. I was only trying to be here about 15, 20 minutes. But revenue might win me over. I have a lot to say. Yes. And if you, so yes, rabbit manure and sheep manure are best for your pasture. So I just can't bite those little thighs like I get to the chicken. Oh, baby ducks are the worst. Shh. Try to get her to get me some more ducks. All right, y'all. I'm about to end it here. Thank y'all for spending a little bit of y'all time with me. If y'all like these kind of lives, it's kind of impromptu. It was just on my mind yesterday. I was like, you know what? Let me just do this video because I'm tired of seeing this, and let me get my take on it. Do I think Tractor Supply? No, I don't think Tractor Supply is behind it. Do I think Purina and well, Purina itself is behind it? Who knows? I know we aren't affected by it because we get our feed from a local feed mill. We ferment our feed. We know that it's winter time, that the cold and the heat is going to stress them out and not to lay as much. They have just now started picking up about a week ago, and we didn't do anything differently, you know. And so, like I said, I'm not a chicken expert. My wife and I, we started out as foodies. We started as a backyard gardener in the urban Dallas area. Uh, Went to a Doug and Stacy um, conference, life conference, and opened up our eyes on when we could start raising our own food. Bought a 6.5 acre and has been, you know, and each year just learning and learning. We're always a student of learning. So don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Just always remember practice makes experience. That nobody will ever be perfect. Just keep on doing what you're doing as long as you learn what is going on. Until the next video, let's grow together.